You did this. You manipulated him somehow. What? No, I didn't. You're wrong. Liar, I know it was you.
The entire coffee shop erupts in laughter. A cup of palm wine flavored cocktail trembles in shy Adama's hands as she blurts before everyone, "Uncle, your drink." The man she calls uncle is not old. He's young, tall, sharp in his tailored shirt, the new community center director. Her loud, glamorous best friend Ngozi doubles over laughing, gold bracelets jangling. The other customers turn to stare. Adama wants the polished floor to swallow her whole, but the director's eyes, they do not laugh. They study her, quietly, carefully, as though she just said something important instead of something embarrassing. The laughter fades, but his gaze does not. Something shifts in that moment, something Adama does not yet understand. Later, walking home past the new streetlights, she will replay that look over and over. Why did he stare like that? What did he see? The new director arrived 3 months ago from the capital. Polished speech, careful movements, hands too smooth for just paperwork. The community elders whisper that he personally funded the center's renovation, new computers, fresh paint, a library. Ngozi says with absolute confidence, "City men marry beauty, watch me work." Adama says nothing, as usual. She volunteers at the center's after-school program, teaching children to read. She keeps her head down. But that night, old Mr. Okonkwo, who sells palm wine from his corner store, leans close to Adama's mother. That director, he does not carry himself like a common civil servant. Her mother frowns. "What do you mean?" Mr. Okonkwo shakes his head slowly. "Just watch him. The way people from the capital defer to him. That one has secrets." The next day, Ngozi begins her performance. Bright Ankara dresses, loud laughter echoing through the center's hallways. She brings him lunch in designer containers, jollof rice, perfectly seasoned. She calls it packaging. "You have to make a man notice you," she tells Adama, flipping her braids. Adama avoids the director entirely now, burning with shame. She takes the back stairs, hides in the children's section. But when Ngozi flirts boldly at the reception desk, leaning close and laughing, the director seems distracted. His responses are polite but distant, and his eyes, they keep drifting toward the shy volunteer who cannot meet his gaze, the one who organizes books with gentle hands, the one who speaks softly to children. Ngozi notices. Her smile tightens. At the community garden, the neighborhood's quiet refuge, Adama confesses to Mama Ebere, the respected elder who tends the vegetables. "I embarrassed myself completely." Mama Ebere chuckles, her weathered hands pruning tomatoes. "Child, authenticity enters a man's heart faster than performance." She offers Adama a kola nut from her apron pocket. "Break this." Adama breaks it carefully. 4 lobes, a good omen. Mama Ebere nods knowingly. "You see, even the ancestors know." Adama does not understand. She only knows her heart feels heavy. That evening, she watches from her apartment window as the director walks through the neighborhood, greeting people. He stops to help an elderly woman carry groceries. Something about the gesture feels practiced, royal even. In his private office after midnight, the director writes a letter sealed with an elaborate insignia. His real name is Prince Obinna Nnamdi, 3rd son of the Nnamdi dynasty, sent by his father the king to live among ordinary people for 1 year before assuming his position on the regional council. He is to choose a wife not by status or appearance, but by character observed in everyday life. His phone buzzes, his chief of staff. "Your Highness, the council asks when you will return." He stares at the security camera footage from the coffee shop. Replay. A girl calling him uncle without pretense, without performance, just genuine, embarrassed honesty. He makes a note in his journal. Adama Okoli, authenticity confirmed. Ngozi learns from a traveling makeup vendor who services elite clients that the director might be connected to royalty.
"I saw him once at a state function," the vendor whispers. "Same face, different clothes." Ngozi's flirtation intensifies. Designer everything now. She mocks Adama in the center's bathroom. "You called a possible prince uncle. You buried yourself, babe." Adama flees to the garden where Mama Ebere is watering peppers. The old woman speaks without turning. "Palm wine ferments with time. So does pride." Ngozi's performance grows louder, more desperate. She posts photos at the center constantly, tagging vague references. But the director remains cordial and distant. Adama watches from the corners, confused by the growing tension. The director announces a community harvest festival, fully sponsored by him. There will be music, food, dancing, and a special presentation at sunset. The neighborhood buzzes with excitement. Ngozi smiles confidently, already planning her outfit. 3 different dresses laid out on her bed. She will pour his drink publicly, she decides, a traditional gesture, beautifully performed. Adama feels only dread. She volunteers to work the children's craft table, safely in the background. Mama Ebere, arranging vegetables for sale, catches her eye and winks. "Sometimes the back door leads to the throne room, child." Adama does not understand. The festival is 5 days away. Ngozi begins her countdown on social media. The tension builds like gathering clouds.
Prince Obina secretly interviews neighborhood residents. He sits in Mr. Okonkwo's store, buying palm wine, asking casual questions. "The young women who volunteer, tell me about them." Ngozi is praised for beauty and confidence, but whispers follow. "She laughed when that poor child spilled juice on himself." She takes photos with the kids but never actually plays with them. Adama is described differently. "That one? Quiet kindness, helps without posting about it." The prince visits Mama Ebere's garden stand. She hands him fresh garden eggs and palm wine. "Sweetness is not volume, my son." He looks at her sharply. She smiles knowingly. He realizes this old woman sees everything. "Tell me about Adama," he says softly. Mama Ebere's answer will shape everything. At the festival, under strung lights and streaming music, Ngozi makes her move. She pours palm wine for the director before the entire gathered crowd. Cameras flash. She kneels beautifully, her dress perfectly arranged, her smile radiant. The crowd cheers. Someone starts a praise chant. This is it. This is her moment. The director accepts the cup politely, but he does not drink. He waits, the cup in his hand, his expression unreadable. Ngozi rises, confused. He scans the crowd. Adama stands far back near the craft table, helping children clean up glue and paper. She wears a simple dress, no performance, just presence. The director's jaw tightens. He sets down the cup, still waiting. A small child runs through the crowd, chasing a balloon. He trips over the microphone cord. Palm wine spills across the platform. The music stops. Ngozi shouts instinctively, "Can't you watch where you're going?" Her voice cuts through the sudden silence, harsh, public. The child's face crumbles. Before anyone else moves, Adama rushes forward. She kneels beside the crying child, shielding him, whispering comfort. She pulls tissues from her bag, wipes his tears, ignores the spilled drink entirely. The crowd watches in absolute silence. The director's face changes. Everything changes. He stands slowly, his posture shifting from casual to commanding. Guards in dark suits step forward from the crowd's edges. People gasp. What is happening? The director, no, the prince, raises his hand. 4 men in royal colors emerge fully, flanking him. Gasps ripple through the festival crowd. He removes his casual blazer. Beneath it, traditional royal beads gleam against his chest. The neighborhood elders fall silent, recognition dawning.
Mr. Okonkwo drops his cup. Mama Ebere simply nods, as though she always knew. Ngozi freezes mid-breath, her smile collapsing. The prince's voice fills the space, no longer casual, but weighted with authority. I am Prince Obina Namdi. I have lived among you these months not as director, but as student. The crowd erupts in shocked murmurs. Adama, still kneeling beside the child, looks up in complete confusion. Their eyes meet across the chaos.
The prince tells the story of his first day. I came to observe character, not performance, to see hearts, not presentations. His voice carries clearly. One girl saw a man, not a title, called me uncle without pretense. The crowd murmurs, understanding dawning. Ngozi's smile fades completely. Her hands tremble. The prince continues. I have watched closely, watched how people treat those who cannot benefit them, how they speak when cameras are off. He looks directly at the small boy Adama comforted. A person's truth appears in unplanned moments. Adama's heart hammers. This cannot be about her. It cannot be. Mama Ebere whispers to the person beside her. The ancestors already chose. But the prince is not finished speaking. Instead of proposing, he declares, I will choose no wife tonight. The crowd gasps. Confusion spreads. Ngozi's face shows relief, then hope. Perhaps she still has a chance. The prince raises his hand for silence. Character must be tested once more, publicly, clearly. He announces the final test. Tomorrow at sunset, any woman interested must present palm wine before the community. But he will observe not the presentation, he will observe how they treat others before reaching him, how they move through the crowd, who they acknowledge, who they ignore. The walk to the platform will reveal everything. Adama feels sick. This is too much, too public. She wants to run. Mama Ebere grips her shoulder firmly. Stay. That night, Ngozi confronts Adama outside her apartment building. You did this. You manipulated him somehow. Tears stream down Ngozi's face, but they are angry tears, bitter tears. Adama's own tears fall softer. I never tried to... You played innocent. You performed humility. Adama shakes her head, backing away. She refuses to insult Ngozi back, refuses to defend herself harshly. She simply says, I'm sorry you're hurting, and walks inside. Ngozi stands alone under the streetlight, fists clenched. Across the street, Mama Ebere watches from her window. She lights a candle, whispers a prayer. Something ancient stirs in the air, forces older than pride, older than jealousy, forces that balance scales. Ngozi dreams that night. She chases a golden crown through an endless mall, her heels clicking frantically. Each time she grabs it, it dissolves into smoke. She runs harder, faster. Her reflection in store windows shows her becoming desperate, frantic. The crown appears on a high shelf. She climbs, reaching. It crumbles to ash. She wakes at 3 a.m., feverish and shaking. Her apartment feels too small. Her achievements feel hollow. Every photo on her wall, perfect makeup, perfect angles, perfect performance, stares back at her. When did she become this? When did winning become everything? She cries into her pillow, understanding something she cannot yet name. Pride is a fever, and she is burning. Sunset approaches. The community gathers again, larger this time. News has spread. A prince choosing publicly. The prince announces the final test clearly. Each woman who wishes will present palm wine. I will observe your journey through the crowd. Ngozi performs again, but something is different. Her smile is tighter. She greets people, but it feels forced, calculated. She helps an elder sit, but glances at the prince to see if he noticed. Adama comes last. She does not rush. She stops to tie a child's shoe, hugs Mama Ebere, gives her seat to an elderly man. She is not performing, she is simply being. The prince watches everything. His decision crystallizes with absolute certainty. Before the final moment, Mama Ebere performs an old ritual. She drops a kola nut into a bowl of water before the crowd. It sinks. Then slowly, impossibly, it rises again. "The ancestors have spoken," she declares. The crowd murmurs. This is sacred confirmation. Even those who do not believe in such things feel the weight of the moment. The prince nods to Mama Ebere with deep respect. He understands. This is not just his choice. It is a rightness that transcends personal preference. Adama stands trembling, the cup of palm wine heavy in her hands. She did not ask for this, did not scheme for this. She only wanted to help children learn to read. How did she arrive here? Before the entire neighborhood, Prince Obinna walks past Ngozi. She stands frozen, her carefully prepared speech dying on her lips. He stops before trembling Adama. The crowd holds its breath. He kneels, takes the palm wine and kola nut from her shaking hands. "Adama Okoli," his voice is gentle but carries clearly. "Will you stop calling me uncle?" He smiles. "And call me husband?" The crowd erupts, gasps, cheers, tears flow freely. Adama cannot speak, cannot breathe. She nods, tears streaming. He rises, places the royal beads around her neck. The weight of them is real. This is real. Mama Ebere claps slowly, tears on her weathered cheeks. Mr. Okonkwo shouts in celebration, but across the crowd, Ngozi's face crumbles. Ngozi screams, a raw, painful sound, then faints dramatically into the arms of the neighborhood aunties who catch her with practiced efficiency. The crowd erupts differently now, not in cruelty, in ironic recognition. The performance finally, truly over. Someone giggles, then another. Laughter ripples through the gathering, not mean laughter, but the release of tension. The aunties fan Ngozi with colorful wrappers, their faces mixing concern with knowing looks. "Kai, this girl," one mutters. Ngozi revives quickly, her faint more theatrical than real. She sees the laughter, feels the shift. Her grand story did not end as planned. She is not the villain, but she is not the bride either. And somehow, that truth hurts more than hatred ever could. But Ngozi is not finished. Pride makes one final push. She stands before the prince, voice shaking with accusation. "She manipulated you. She played on your sympathy." The crowd quiets. This is serious. False accusations against royalty are dangerous. Mama Ebere steps forward calmly. Let truth answer. She calls both women to stand before the ancient baobab tree at the garden's center, a tree that has witnessed generations. "Swear your truth," Mama Ebere commands. The ancestors are listening. The crowd presses close. This old ritual carries weight. Even the prince does not interfere. Some truths must be settled by older laws than his. Ngozi and Adama stand facing each other beneath the baobab's vast branches. The moment stretches taut. Ngozi swears first. "I acted in truth. She schemed." A sudden wind shakes the baobab violently. Leaves fall like judgment. Dust swirls, blinding Ngozi briefly. She stumbles back, coughing. The crowd gasps. No wind blew a moment before. Now the air is still again. Impossible. Ngozi's face pales. Adama steps forward, her voice barely a whisper. "I never schemed. I never plotted. I only tried to serve." Her words are simple. The air remains calm. The tree stands peaceful. Somewhere a bird sings. The contrast is undeniable. Even skeptics in the crowd feel it. Something intangible but utterly real. Ngozi sinks to her knees, not from performance this time, from recognition. She has been fighting the wrong battle all along. Ngozi finally understands. Her downfall was not witchcraft, not betrayal, not Adama's secret manipulation.
It was pride, her own pride. The realization hits like cold water. She built a performance instead of a person, chased a title instead of character. She weeps, not from losing the prince, but from losing herself along the way. When did she stop being real? When did everything become strategy? She remembers the girl she used to be, before social media validation, before performing for attention. That girl was Adama's friend, actually her friend. The grief for that lost self overwhelms her. The crowd watches in silence, some with judgment, some with pity, but mostly with recognition. Pride is a familiar demon. Many have danced with it. Adama does what no one expects. She kneels beside Ngozi. "You were my friend before any prince existed between us." Her voice breaks. "I miss my friend." The crowd gasps. The prince, watching, feels his heart expand. This is why. Ngozi looks up through tears, disbelieving. "How can you?" "Because grace is greater than revenge," Adama whispers, "and I loved you before I ever thought about crowns." She extends her hand. Ngozi stares at it. The moment stretches. Then, trembling, she takes it. They rise together, not as rivals, as women who walked different paths and paid different prices. The prince smiles. Mama Ebere nods. Mr. Okonkwo wipes his eyes. Kindness witnessed is grace multiplied.
The wedding happens at the community center square, transformed with flowers and light. Palm wine flows from traditional gourds. Kola nut breaks properly, 4 perfect lobes. The neighborhood celebrates like family because they are family. This time, when Adama pours palm wine, her hands do not shake. She says softly, clearly, "My husband." The title feels both impossible and inevitable. The prince, now openly acknowledged, guards present, royal family attending, beams. Ngozi attends, quieter now, humbled but healing. She helps serve the children's table. No cameras, no performance, just service. Adama catches her eye across the celebration. They smile. Not best friends again yet, but not enemies. Peace slowly blooming. The ancestors are satisfied. Later, around the community fire pit, Mama Ebere tells the story to the children. "Listen well," her voice carries like smoke. "Pride shouts. True love listens. Beauty can attract attention, but character keeps hearts. And sometimes the blessing you are chasing loudly is already watching the way you treat others quietly." The children lean close. "Was Ngozi wicked?" one asks. Mama Ebere shakes her head. "Blinded by pride, child. Different thing. We all can be." She looks at each young face. "Remember, the world will teach you to perform. The ancestors will teach you to be real. Choose wisely." The fire crackles. The story settles into hearts. And somewhere, a prince and a former volunteer hold hands, built not on performance, but on truth, seen in unguarded moments.